Hey guys, so today in this video we're going to go over how to create a table in Microsoft Excel. We come up here to the Insert tab, click on that. On the top left of this ribbon here we'll see three options for tables. This video is just going to focus on creating the standard generic table. Your other options are to create a pivot table. That's something that I'm going to save for a future video. So if we just click the table option, we see this little pop-up box open up. So we see where is the data for your table. What we want to do is highlight the cells that where we want our table to exist. So if we want our table to occupy these cells here, we would simply just highlight them. If we want our entire sheet to be a table, we would come up here to the top left of the grid and click on this little downward facing triangle here, and that highlights every cell in the sheet. If we wanted to occupy certain columns, maybe columns B through E, we would click on column B, drag over to E, and then that would fill in this entire column all the way down to the bottom of the sheet. For this example, we'll just create a table right here. Now, if you click My Table Has Headers, this highlighted cell is going to be the total area of the graph, with the top row being a header. So that's if it's clicked. If it's not clicked, what you'll see is that the top row will still be a headers column, but that grid will shift down and give you an extra cell or an extra row of cells at the bottom. So say my table has headers. Okay, so now we've created a table. You see up here we have a new tab called Design. If we click out, it goes away. If we click in, it shows you this Table Tools Design tab that we can click on. And here we can edit our table. So header row is checked. That's the top row. If we don't want to see that, if we want to get rid of it, simply click on it and it goes away. Total row is something that will be generated right at the bottom, and it'll do what it's doing right now. If we go to the bottom cell where it says 0, it says subtotal equals 103. 103 is a code that means count. If we want to get rid of that, we can simply delete it, and we can put in whatever we want. So if we want to do a sum function and sum the column, we can do that instead. Or maybe we don't want a total column at all. We could also drag this to be all the cells. So this is some column 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We change the name up here to test. We'll see here that this is sum test. This is the name of the column. So that can be turned on and off. Banded rows, so we'll just turn it off for now. Banded rows, see when we look here at the design of the graph, we see every other row has a different design. One's filled light blue, the other is just the standard grid. Turn on, if we turn it off, we'll see that all the cells have the exact same format. So we'll just leave it on for now. Banded columns, same thing. You can change every other row to be different. We'll turn that off for now. First and last column, we'll select those, and then as you can see, nothing has changed really. We'll come on over here to the right where it says Table Styles. Click on the drop down, and we'll see the different styles here that Excel has provided to us. Now if we click one here, we'll see that these first column and the last column has a different format. That's because these two cells here were selected. We can turn them on and off. The reason why you might want them on or off is because the first column you could have as, say you were creating a chart for scores in a contest. You could say, okay, column 1 is the name of the contestant, while as the columns are the scores, and then this last column is the average of the scores. Now, as we can see when we did that all the cells down the bottom were highlighted or filled in with that formula. So that's going to happen for the last column of the graph. So if we put in 1, 2, 3, 4, this is score 3 and this is score 4, and then John goes ahead and scores a 2, a 1, a 5, and a 3. 2.5, 2.75, we would see that John here is the winner. Filters. So if we had a large table filled with data, we have these filter buttons at the top of the headers. So if we want that to exist, if we think that's going to add some value to our table to be able to filter through different data. So just for example, if we have Nancy, Susan, for example, we click on this filter option, we can sort alphabetically. We can sort A to Z alphabetically, Z to A. We can sort to remove people. Like we don't want to see Jims and Nancy's. We can remove Jim and Nancy. But if we were to get rid of that option, we can remove that filter button. So we'll just leave it there for now. So let's come on over back up here to the design tab and go through some of the other options that we have. Remove duplicates. So if we click remove duplicates, what we'll see is that all the columns are highlighted for us. So if we want to remove the duplicates from just column 1, we would unselect the remainder of the columns, hit OK. Now what that did was, since there was blank cells, it assumed that those were duplicates. So that's going to do that if you have this kind of graph. So just be careful when you're doing that. Insert slicer. So a slicer is a better way to visualize data. So if we want to see a slicer of column 1, that'll show us another representation of what's in column 1. So as we would go through here and fill out more and more info, we'll see that fills up here. Let me just delete that. So that about sums up how to create a table in Excel. Pretty simple, pretty straightforward. This is used a lot in business for keeping track of data. So it's important to understand the basics of how tables work. So thank you guys for watching.